Okay, good morning. Today's video is going to be a bit different. If you've watched my channel for a while, you might know that I have OCD, and I've had OCD in varying degrees since I was about 17, I think, and it's been in varying degrees over the years. When I was like 17, 18, it was really bad. It was really hard to do pretty much anything without OCD being there. It's a really complicated thing. I've made a whole video on like my OCD story and all that kind of stuff, which I'll leave down below if you want to watch that first. But it's really, I think if anybody that's watching this has OCD, you'll know it's really hard to describe what and why your OCD does certain things. So I'll quickly try and explain my kind of OCD and how it works. So with OCD, it is obsessive compulsive disorder. So usually there is an obsessive thought. This is usually something that you're really scared of happening. For me, it is being sick. So I am always like, if I do this or if I don't do this, then I will be sick. So my obsessive thought is, I will be sick. Then the compulsions are things that your OCD tells you to do or tells you not to do so that you won't have that horrible thing come true. So for me, it's something like, if I touch this box 5 times, then I will not be sick. For the most part, it doesn't affect my life completely anymore. It's not like everything in my life is revolved around OCD all the time. I've kind of made a lot of my OCD habits and actions a part of my life that I don't even really notice anymore. And it's sometimes not until somebody points out, like, I touch both sides of the door frames whenever I walk through a door. But stuff like that obviously doesn't really affect my life that much. But there are actions that my OCD doesn't let me do for whatever reason that do affect my life and that make it a bit more annoying. Like I said, my OCD was much worse a few years ago, where I had to breathe in a certain way. I couldn't say certain words. I couldn't hug my ex-boyfriend for a really long time because my OCD said that if I hugged him or kissed him, then I would be sick and all my friends would fall out with me. So OCD is a very complex thing that's so like, I think because we don't talk about it very much, because for me, my OCD said I'm not allowed to talk about it, and if I talked about it, then something really bad would happen. So that's why I've not really talked about it that much on this channel. But going into the new year, I'm trying to have a different approach to my OCD. And one thing that really helps me is when my OCD tells me I can't do something, then I'm going to try and do it. But one, if I don't feel ready to stop doing that action, then I won't. I'm going to take this really lightly and really, really slowly and really chilled. 2, after I do something that my OCD tells me I can't do, I'm going to remind myself and say out loud or in my head, there is no way those 2 things are correlated. For example, what I'm just about to do is go in the shower, which is why I look like this. And one of the things my OCD hasn't let me do for a really long time is do all of the things in the shower at once. I've not been allowed to wash my hair and shave and moisturise and all that kind of stuff in the same shower. I will have to have multiple showers to do all the multiple things, which is really frustrating, and it means I can't just have a really nice long shower where I moisturise and make myself feel really good. I've not done that in years and years and years and years. I have to choose one thing that I can do in the shower that day. OCD can be very illogical, and it sounds like when you don't have OCD, like, well, why don't you just do it? Because obviously nothing bad's going to happen from that. But when you have really convinced yourself that if you don't do it, the worst thing will happen from me being sick, then you just wouldn't do it. Actually really difficult to talk about because you feel like an idiot a bit. Like you feel like, of course, nothing bad will happen from moisturising your body. Of course you're not going to get sick from that. OCD is very illogical a lot of the time, and that's just the way it is. So, like I said, my first thing today is to have a shower, and I'm going to do all of the things in the shower at once. And I'm going to remind myself if I feel anxious, there is no logical way that it can make me sick. There's just no way. There's no germs involved. There's nothing that can make me sick from that. Something my therapist kind of talked to me about when I was telling her about my OCD is to change it up a little bit. So if you are trying this, if you've got OCD and you're going to try something like this to stop your OCD actions, changing it up a little bit can really help. So bear with me. It was my birthday a few days ago, and for my birthday my mum got me this. It's a Soap and Glory set with so many different things inside. And so what my therapist said was, if you kind of change it up a little bit and you're not doing the exact same thing. For example, using new products, or one of my OCD things is I can't read during the day because I once had a really bad panic attack after I'd read during the day. I don't know if this is making any sense, but hopefully it is. So rather than, she would say, okay, when you had that bad panic attack when you were sitting on your sofa and you were reading a book, why don't you try and change it up? So sit on a chair, or sit in your bedroom, or sit in the bath and read a book. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use new products and hopefully that can make things a bit easier. I haven't opened this yet as well, so this is exciting. I really hope that this video can help some of the people out there with OCD to try and challenge their obsessive compulsive thoughts. OCD can be the most debilitating thing in the world to live with. For a long time it made me just completely unable to do anything, and now it's made my life really inconvenient, is the best way to describe it. A lot of my obsessive compulsive thoughts and actions now are just really inconvenient. I'm gonna use the Clean On Me, I'm gonna use the body scrub. What else am I gonna use? I'm gonna put this on after my shower, and I'm going to use the hair conditioner mask, and then when I come out I'm going to moisturise my body, which I've not done in so long because I've not been allowed to, and I'm going to feel so good. Let's go. Okay, so I am out of the shower, my hair is all wet. I used all of the things, I exfoliated, I have moisturised, I feel really good, like I've been renewed, and I am kind of halfway through my makeup, and there are some things that my OCD doesn't allow me to do with makeup as well, so I'll show you. So the first thing is, whenever I get a new makeup palette, I can only ever use that palette until it's done. So I can only use one palette at a time until that palette's completely run out. So I got this Kylie Jenner palette ages ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, and I actually really like it. It's like a bit minging because I have used it a lot, but as soon as I got a new palette I wasn't allowed to use this anymore, and it's a real shame because I really love this palette. I think it's just really like my kind of colours, all like burgundies and ambers and all that stuff, so today I'm going to use it. So that's the eyes done. The only other thing really surrounding OCD that that makes me anxious is lipstick. It's kind of the same thing as with the eyeshadow. Whenever I get a new lipstick, I can only use that lipstick and I can't use any others, which is really frustrating because obviously you want to wear different lipsticks for different looks, and obviously I'm such a beauty queen. So yeah, I'm going to use this next one. So with my OCD actions, sometimes they are more strong than other ones. There's certain ones that I just don't feel like I could stop doing yet, and there's other ones that aren't as severe, I guess. Sometimes OCD actions are just totally random for me. There's actually no correlation between the action and anything that's ever happened, and sometimes it is due to having a bad experience. So for example, me not being able to read during the day because of my OCD, that was because I once had a really bad panic attack, and on the day that I had the bad panic attack, just before it, I had been reading a book on the sofa. So ever since then I've not been able to read during the day. Another thing is doing my hair in French plaits. I can't do that, and I actually tried to at some point last year, and I was like, this is just silly, of course I'm not going to have a panic attack from wearing my hair in plaits. But that day I actually started to feel really unwell. So while I know deep down that was just a coincidence that happened, and it was probably because I had been anxious about it and stuff, and subconsciously kind of made that come on, it's still really scary. So sometimes they are totally random actions that my brain has just come up with, and sometimes they're due to something bad happening. But I also don't mind, I've talked to my therapist about how OCD is actually something that's trying to keep you safe. So OCD's main goal is, I feel unsafe, I'm worried about something, so I will give you these actions so that you're not scared anymore. But obviously it starts to really affect your life when it starts to become severe, and it really affected my life for a certain amount of time. I just want to say that while I'm doing this video, because I want to try and help other people and myself, it doesn't mean that you have to do this. If you're not ready to even think about not doing OCD actions and all that kind of stuff, and if you think that's just impossible, give yourself a bit of time. Maybe start to think about what actions you could do slightly less of. It's completely up to you, and I would say that the number one thing to do if your OCD is really severe and you are just like not in a place at all to try and stop OCD actions is to get therapy. I would never ever ever be doing this video if I hadn't had therapy for such a long time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out actually, and like I've said a few times, one of my OCD actions is reading during the day, and that's a really big one for me because that's what I really want to be able to do, because I find daytime's quite hard anyway with my anxiety. I don't know why, I just find it that during the day I'm most likely to get anxious rather than at night or in the morning. I really want to try and get this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it up a bit, and I'm going to go and buy myself a new book. So I'm doing something, like I said, of changing the action slightly so that it's a bit more manageable. So I'm going to go and buy myself a new book. My mum actually, for my birthday, got me a book voucher for this lovely bookshop along the road. So I'm going to go and choose a new book, then I'm going to come back here and try and get a plan to try and read some. So I'm going to go along to the bookshop now.
Go, drove to Chicago, all things know, all things know.
Okay, so I am home now. Oh, I feel actually pretty good. I don't really feel too anxious. The main thing I feel anxious about is reading in a bit, because I think that's the biggest scary thing for me, because I remember so clearly reading my book on my parents' sofa and just being like, I feel awful, and then having a really bad panic attack. So I think that's the thing I'm most worried about. But I've done so many OCD things today and I don't feel anxious or unwell. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit of a break and a rest and then try again. So I'm gonna take this hat off. We ain't outside anymore. Had a wee bit of a break, and what I've decided to do is actually do a little bit of cleaning before I do some reading. My OCD, it's hard to explain some OCD actions because they've just been so like ingrained in your head for so long and you've never had to explain them to anybody before. But one of them is I have to clean in a certain routine. So I can clean rooms in a clockwise way, but I can't clean in the opposite way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my living room, then tidy my bedroom, then clean the kitchen. I'm not going to completely transform them or anything. I'm just going to give a quick little tidy because it's a serious mess. Because I had Christmas and then my birthday's like 2 weeks after Christmas, I've still got loads of present stuff to put away, but sometimes my OCD says I can't put them away. Really complicated, and I'm finding this video a little bit tricky to make, but I'm hoping that it can really help somebody. So yeah, another thing is what I've been really wanting to do for a long time is to rearrange a couple of things. I'll show you. First, this is my wool boxes, which I want to really like tidy and stuff as well. I want to put this wool under the TV. See what I mean about the mess, by the way? Under the TV, put this chair here, and then put my new plants there. So I've been really wanting to like rearrange it and do that, but I've been finding it really hard to be able to do that. So I am constantly keeping reminding myself there is no possible way I can get sick from moving a chair from one place to the other. There is no possible way I can get sick from cleaning one room then cleaning another room. There's just no possible way. So I'm going to keep reminding myself of that and try my best to do this. So I'm going to do that just now.
I don't mind, I don't mind. I made a lot of mistakes in my mind, in my mind. You came to take us. All things go to recreate us. All things grow, all things grow.
Okay, so I actually managed to just declutter loads of stuff too, which I didn't think I'd be able to do. There's loads of like half finished projects I have, knitting wise. I realise when I talk how uncool I actually sound. Anyway, so I just thought I'm just going to bin them all because I'm never going to finish them. I never have gone back to them. They're pretty shit. Very successful so far. So I am seriously backlit right now. Embarrassing. But I thought what I think I might do now is read for a little bit. Like I said, this is the scariest one for me because I really remember so vividly that panic attack I had. But I'll show you the books that I got in the bookshop. They put them in these really cute paper bags as well. Well, really cute, it's just a brown paper bag, but I like it. So we got Middle England, and the reason I got this one is because it's a Costa Book Awards shortlist, and I always love the Costa Book Award books. Don't know why. They just always, they know what they're talking about. And then I got Wild, A Journey from Lost to Found by Cheryl Strayed. Oh, funny. Strayed, Wild. But I'm not sure whether to read one of the ones I got today or to read this one. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine because I've heard so many things about this book. So, and this is also a Costa Book Award winner. Maybe that's a sign that I should read this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Eleanor Oliphant one. And just see how much I fancy reading. I'm going to just chill and read a little bit of this, and this is a really, really big deal. This has been a major OCD thing for me for so long. So this is, yeah, this is one that's stressful, so I'm going to try and do this. So I just read 14 pages of this book. It is so great. I love this so much, and I'm only on page 14. I am going to absolutely love this book, I can tell. I feel absolutely fine. Nothing bad has happened. And now I'm going to stop doing that, quit while I am ahead, and move on to something else. I'm very aware that this might be a bit of a weird... What is that? There's literally a piece of wood in my jumper that's been annoying me all day. What is this? Anyway, this feels like I'm just like doing something, then doing something, then doing something and showing you, which is exactly, I guess, what a vlog is in some ways. But it feels very like stoppy starty because I'm trying to do a little bit of every OCD action that I have. I couldn't possibly do all of them in one video because there's just so many, and some of them I'm not really ready / don't really want to tackle yet. These are just kind of the things that interrupt and get in the way that are frustrating. Things like, I've just cleaned my living room, and usually when I have done a bit of cleaning and then say I take a break, I can't go back to the same room. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to put a dish away in the kitchen even though I have moved on to something else, and then I'm going to do some of my kitchen and clean some of my kitchen. So yeah, moving on to the kitchen now.
All things go, all things go.
Okay, so I have just put a wash on. You might be able to hear that in a second. And you know what? That's pretty much all the OCD actions I want to do for today. I'm going to chill out now before I go to my friend's house, because if you're somebody with OCD that is watching this video, you might be watching this and be like, that is impossible. Like, it's so difficult to overcome OCD actions because it is a repetitive, constant thought in your head. I totally understand that, and this video, I have been working on my OCD in certain ways for a good couple of years now, and so that's why I'm kind of able more mentally to tackle them. This is kind of a start, and I really, really, really hope this video has inspired or made you feel like one day you might be able to do these as well, or maybe today you might be able to even write a list of all your OCD actions and think about the ones that are a little bit less anxiety for you. I don't know, just hopefully it sparked something and can help somebody out there. That would be really amazing. But thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you again soon. Bye!